Logan Loya, and I'm here with,
Mr. Clark.
and today we're going to be talking about more like bacterial horror films, mostly two, because I only had a list of two, but Mayhem and 28 Days Later, which are more like sciencey things, which a kind of a main question I want to ask you is like, if could they happen, and if so, how would they happen?
That's a good question. I will say this, like, the movies, like, when COVID happened, I mean, just the mass hysteria was crazy. But, like, I mean, COVID was obviously really bad and killed millions of people, but it's not like a anime movie virus where, it's like a flesh-eating monster and it, like, causes you to turn into, like, a zombie. I mean, could is an interesting question. So I will say this: I'm a chemistry guy, so I'm not really like too into the biology kind of aspect of things. I mean, my sci-fi brain is always like, "Oh yeah, everything could happen." I mean, here's the thing: like, there's lots of diseases where like your mental inhibitions kind of get turned off, kind of like in the movie. So I do think it's like within the realm of possibility. Go ahead.
I know there's a virus in deers where
Yeah.
there's like a zombie type virus with deer.
Well, and I was gonna say, like, I grew up on a farm, so like you have like mad cow disease and stuff like that, or even like, I mean, I remember one of our cows got acidosis, and that's not even like a really severe disease. It's just kind of like they have like a deficiency in their diet, so like they have way too much acid in their stomach, and even that can cause like some really crazy like mental side effects. So I want to say yes. I don't know if it'd be as cool as it is in the movies. Like, it's kind of like when I talk about, like, radiation in chemistry class. It's like, it is really cool. But at the same time, it's also, like, probably not as cinematic as everyone would think it is. I do think there, like, could one day be a disease that caused everyone to go crazy. But I don't know if it'd be, like... I don't know if it'd be as, like, glamorous as it was in the movie. It also would have to be, like, incredibly contagious to make it work. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, go ahead.
Like in Mayhem, it was through water, if
Yeah.
I remember right. And then I think it was airborne also.
Well, it was airborne because, I mean, they pretty much all got it, like, right away, right?
Yeah. And the Mayhem is such a wild movie, too. Because
Yeah.
it's such, like, because it makes people like very angry
Yes.
and like shut something off in their brain so they can just walk around and murder people.
Sure, and I think it's like kind of like an animal instinct kind of thing almost. It was really pretty much like the same kind of idea as 28 Days Later, which I thought was pretty interesting. But it was like, I don't know, I really liked it because it was like, basically it was like Die Hard had a baby with like The Purge. Because like everyone started like acting crazy like in The Purge, but it was like also like they're like climbing up this building to get to the big boss man at the top. So, I mean, I forgot what the question was honestly, but like I think it'd be kind of an interesting thing. I mean, it would have to be like that level of contagious to go that crazy. Because like I mean, the other thing is just like if it's in a building like that and it's that contagious where everyone in the building contracts at the same time, what I mean about it not being glamorous is I mean like we're all pretty much screwed if it's that contagious where it like destroys a building that quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like someone's gonna get out.
It's kind of like because I can't remember what it was called in Mayhem or even 28 Days, but I know one of them was the Rage virus.
That was 28 Days.
28, yeah. And they weren't zombies. They were just people who kind of lost the ability to function, and the only thing that could function in their mind was rage, which is why it was called the Rage virus.
Right. It's really like it's such an interesting idea for a movie. I really like I'm not really usually a horror guy, but I really kind of liked both of them and just thought they were really interesting. But I mean, here's the thing. Like, when I say it, like, it wouldn't be glamorous or it wouldn't be, like, super crazy. I mean, think about how we reacted to COVID. Like, we all, like, we had to wear masks. We had, like, we had school, even though, like, everyone was still contagious. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's like, if there was, like, this death man-eating virus, I mean, even though we'd probably be better prepared, like, considering, like, with all the, like, things we learned kind of during COVID, I mean, it's like, if it's that contagious, I just don't know how, like, screwed you are. Like, have you ever played that game, like, Infection or whatever it is, where it's like you're allowed to, like, implant infections? It's like a video game.
Mm.
It's I don't know if it's called Infection. I can't remember what it's called, but I've seen it.
I don't remember either.
What is it called?
But there's also more like raged up zombies, kind of like Train to Busan or like World War Z.
Yeah.
Which are like, cause like zombies started as like, and are probably most popular known as like the slow shambling corpses, but somebody was just like, hey, what if they were fast and very violent? And I like all the different things you can do with zombies, because another like not really zombie but basically the same premise is like in The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Where it was a, I think it was like, I can't remember what type of plant it was, but it was like it was something where you could catch it very easily, and then like they were called clickers, and there would basically be no human left. It's just this, I want to say mushrooms, but I don't think that's right.
I mean, really, all you need is just anything that's contagious. But I mean, actually, mushrooms would be an interesting one, because like for zombies, isn't there like there's like a zombie? What is it? There's like there's a Pokemon named after it. There's like a zombie controlling fungus that like can like control animals. Have you ever heard of that? I'll see if I can Google it. But it's like it might even literally just be called like the zombie fungus. I forget what it is, but let me look. Hang on. But it's like I feel like Jamie on Joe Rogan. But basically, it's like this mushroom grows into the brain of like some kind of like crab, or even just like some kind of animal, and then it like literally controls the animal's whims to serve the mushroom.
That's how clickers work in The Last of Us.
Right,
and which is such a interesting idea, and I feel like I don't know how true or like how possible it is, but I feel like that would be the most sure way of how zombies could actually happen.
I mean, yeah, because like the thing is with viruses is like viruses don't really have like an objective, you know what I mean? Like I can agree with the idea of like the movie where it's like it turns off all your inhibitions. Like there are viruses that can destroy specific parts of your brain, but like I was just saying, like the idea of like a zombie or like something getting controlled and getting turned into a zombie, I think that you're kind of right. Like the mushrooms would be a good one. Yeah, it's literally called zombie ant. Like I'll show you, but like it's really gross.
Oh,
so yeah, it literally like grows all over the ant, and then it controls the ant.
Because I'm pretty sure that could be what The Last of Us is heavily like based with, and how their zombies work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if I've only seen like a little bit of The Last of Us. I don't know that like I wouldn't even like be able to name a single character, but yeah, like I was gonna say I think that like what I love about sci-fi is they can just take something like, you know, like just this cool mushroom that just happens to grow on an ant, and then just like run with it and make like a really cool movie concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's awesome that like just like we have creative people out there that kind of go through that kind of thing. Now, I wanted to kind of diss on Mayhem because I was like, because it was like, I mean, they literally did just kind of steal the rage virus. I mean, I don't know if that's fair or not, because I don't know how many horror movies have like viruses that like take over people like that.
Oh, so many.
I'm sure. I mean, is there like a genre of those that they call it that or something, or I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know there's so many subgenres in the horror franchise.
Like I know there's like slashers and stuff.
The slashers are, you know, your slashers like Michael, Jason, and then you have creature features, which is kind of like the Frankenstein and,
like Jaws kind of situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have the paranormal, which are like The Conjuring, Paranormal Activity type stuff, and then there's sci-fi horror, which is more like Aliens, Predator, and more like a Reanimator would go under one, which is one I wanted you to watch that you didn't get to. But
well, it wasn't on Prime Video.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one, because I can't remember. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember like some chemical that just brought a guy's head back to life, and
Okay.
it was very it's an interesting movie. What I remember,
Like a chemical just happened to grow in the guy and it brought him back to life?
no, like there's a mad scientist who found out a way to like bring a man back to life.
From just his head.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did he give him like a Frankenstein body, or did he like give him his own body?
No, he was just a head in a pan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you the whole plot and premise because I haven't seen it in, I think, 6 years.
Yeah. No, I mean I get that. I mean I haven't seen like like I was gonna like even maybe bring up A Quiet Place, but I haven't seen that one in a while either.
Yeah, A Quiet Place is definitely more like creature feature.
Yeah.
And it's like a monster that is blind but can hear like the smallest of sound.
Right.
Unless plot purposes call for it to not hear a small sound.
So like what does the head in the pan do in Reanimator? I'm trying to think.
I don't remember. I know he has like I think he can talk and like he has like motor functions back, but he's just kind of like it's just kind of like a zombie
Okay.
there, and I don't know if he like wants to eat people, but it's been a while.
Sure, I gotcha. I mean, that'd be okay. I mean, I will say this, like again, even that is based on something where it's like people try to do that because like there are those people out there that like want to live forever, so they want to like save their like head into a jar or something like that, and then be transplanted into another body, which. I mean, obviously, I don't know everything about science. I don't know how far like brain surgery has come in like the last like 20 years, but like that in itself is an interesting idea. Like, what if you could like make yourself a new body and transplant your adult brain into it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I would imagine that's probably like the idea that they were basing that off of.
Yeah, I know that's like the whole idea of Frankenstein.
Right. And like, was the doctor like trying to become immortal in that?
No, he was just trying to create life.
Just oh, okay. I getcha.
Like the Doctor Frankenstein, because like the doctor's name is actually Frankenstein. The monster doesn't really have a name, so he's just Frankenstein's monster.
Okay. Yeah.
But like Dr. Frankenstein is just obsessed with trying to play God and create life, and then he somehow figures how to do it and does it, and then everything goes wrong.
Right. And I mean that's kind of the whole like mad scientist trope. But I mean like here's the thing. I love to say that like sci-fi would like get to the point where like we do that, but like there's lots of like I mean I even showed you like kind of situations like that with like the nuclear where it's like people like scientists can literally kind of play God because like you can make a weapon that ends like the whole world, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I mean I don't know, would you say like doing that like is going too far? Like if you could live forever and like give yourself a new body every 100 years or so, would you want to?
Me personally, no. I mean,
I wouldn't either.
I feel like living forever is like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to live forever? I mean, like, everybody you know and love will die as you continue to live on. And then I feel like, I don't know. I feel like one lifetime is good enough.
See, and what's kind of weird about it is, and like you can kind of branch this into like a million subjects, but it's like, with the scientists that are like way smarter than me, it's like all it takes is one that believes the opposite, and it probably takes more than one to actually do this, but I mean, say you have one like super genius that like really wants to become immortal, like all it takes is one super genius to come up with that, and then it really doesn't matter what the whole rest of the world thinks. Like the secret's gonna be out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they're just gonna be like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it.
Right. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's like like that. I mean, that's like a deep question. It's like, does life really mean anything if it doesn't have an end? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you live forever, like are you a god? Kind of like not maybe not. Like it's like the scientist playing God. I don't know. There's all kinds of like questions about that in science that always intrigue me.
Mm.
But I don't know. I mean, like I don't know that like I don't know that whoever authored Frankenstein was maybe thinking that deeply about it. But I do feel like a lot of even like the modern takes on sci-fi movies, they really kind of portray the scientists as these like trying to play God types, which I find pretty interesting.
Yeah, and like you have other like sci-fi movies which are like, you know, aliens and the whole thing. That's kind of like the big sci-fi horror. And like would you think that there could be something like, I don't know, a predator or xenomorph out in space or something like that?
Well, I mean, I learned in college about this thing called the Drake equation, and this to me sounds like I didn't get it, but I get what they were getting at. They did this like probability math equation to like based on just like how many billion planets are out there and how many billion stars are out there, and the fact that we're like one in however many million. What's the odds of like life existing somewhere else? So here's the thing. So like, I mean, you're basically just asking me like, do I believe in aliens?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, so I find it hard to believe with like the billions and zillions of stars that are out there that there's not one galaxy that we just haven't seen yet that could house life. I mean, we can't even see all the stars. That's how ridiculous it is. Mm-hmm. But like, at the same time, it's kind of a weird thing because like I do feel like I feel like there's life out there somewhere, but at the same time, I don't know that it really matters because unless you can find a way to like teleport like across billions and billions of light years, like distance wise, like, I mean, here's the thing, like the nearest star to us is like several light years away. So like, and light years is like how long it takes for like, I mean, you need a rocket that travels the speed of light, which is insane enough just to even get there. Mm-hmm. So I do think that there's aliens out there, but like unless like one of the aliens becomes developed enough to like develop teleportation, like travel, like wormhole, like crazy sci-fi stuff, it doesn't really matter because it's like it's not like we're gonna get visited by aliens anytime soon because they're so many millions of years away. You know what I'm saying? So unless like and here's the thing, and then if an alien did like develop space travel, they are so much more advanced than our society at all. Like we're just completely screwed. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like it's not as glamorous as I think it could be.
Yeah, and then like there's one movie called Brightburn, which basically takes Superman and makes him evil and like, but like just a child that doesn't really understand, and then something like a timed thing when like whatever sent him to Earth like clicks when he turns a certain age, and then he just goes full like evil world ending type evil.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting horror movie that takes it would be better if there was more like character development, because like at one point he's this like snot-nosed little annoying kid, and then the next thing he's murdering people left and right.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe that's just more like an accurate depiction of what would actually happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know, and like all these sci-fi movies, like kind of like what I was talking about earlier with like the geniuses, like it just takes one genius to like come up with a secret, and then like you have like the whole like boundaries of what's possible change. But it's like, we're always like, the science community is always viewed as like crazy in that sense. Like, I don't know, even like Tony Stark, like, you know, like created an AI robot in like Age of Ultron, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it's like, why do the scientists always have to be mad? Like, why can't we just be like doing like cool stuff to save the universe? You know what I mean? Why do we have to be doing like stuff that could possibly end the universe?
Yeah, because like in The Walking Dead, you have like the whole first season is that they make it to this, I can't remember exactly what place it was, but it was like a scientist.
Yeah.
And then
There's always a scientist.
Yeah. And then so he's just like, he explains to like that it was like a airborne virus to Rick.
Sure.
Which is like the main character. And like whenever you die or get bitten, it speeds up the process. So everybody is infected at first, but your mind doesn't get taken over until you die or something else bites you to speed up the process and you turn into a zombie.
See, that would actually... Okay, now I probably see why people like The Last of Us, because that leads to a lot of drama. It's like, oh, they're infected, but then like, oh, a bite speeds them up. You can actually do like character development with that instead of just like all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like one of the crazy things about Mayhem and I was like, there must be a lot of tropes in horror movies, but like one of the things about Mayhem and but like one of the things about Mayhem and like 28 Days Later is like they like introduce a character and you're like, oh yeah, there's that character, and there's like dead immediately, immediately dead. It's like in 28 Days Later they had they like just introduce you to these two guys that like survived the whole like thing, and they're like trying to work their way through it, and then just like immediately one of them attracts the violence and like the woman chops him to death. And I'm like, oh my god. It's like I can't trust anyone now.
Yeah, and then like she's just like, hey, like when the main characters like group up, she's just like, hey, I'm gonna do anything to kill you. And, like if you get infected, I'm gonna kill you. And then like towards the end of the film, she's like, oh no, I would never kill you. I love you.
Yeah,
it's
it's like
what happened?
Okay. Yeah, like come on. Like well, and then in Mayhem, like the whole beginning, it was really interesting. Like Mayhem, I was like, okay, whoever this director is has like a pretty creative brain, because like they ripped off things, but I didn't really care, because like, it almost felt like a rom com. Have you ever seen like a rom com?
Yeah.
So rom coms, their whole like thing, and I only know this because my sister literally took a master's level class about rom coms and made me watch like 5 rom coms with her last summer. Okay, but like rom coms' whole thing is you want to set up this disaster, so you just make this character more and more and more and more and more miserable. And then just, like, eventually they get with the guy and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but, like, in this, it was, like, the beginning of Mayhem was just, like, there's this, like, lawyer guy, and just, like, crap just piles on him. It's like, okay, like, this lady, like, denied, no. Like, his best friend is, like, established at the beginning, and the best friend tries to, like, tell him to take a different path, immediately dead in the next scene.
Yeah.
It's just, like, he gets, like, such a, like, the first half of the movie is just, like, nonsensically horrific crap happening to the main character. Which, I mean, is true in a lot of movies, but it's, like, I was like, that was interesting, because, like, I mean, really, I wouldn't say anything really bad happened in, like, 28 Days Later. It was just, like, the guy's family was dead, which is rough, obviously. But it's just, like...
it's not bad.
But, I mean, it's bad, but it's, like... I mean, it's just, like, he just woke up from a coma, and it's, like, oh, I'm in hell. Whereas, like, this guy, it's, like, he just got, like, slowly dragged into hell, and then it's, like, oh, okay. And then, like, the virus was weirdly a good thing. Because, like, he, like, used the virus as an excuse to, like, go up to the top floor and murder the guy, like, in Die Hard.
Yeah, because he was just... Because he was able to... in the court, he was able to... justify as it was not his actions, so he got him out. So he was just like, hey, I did that for this guy, so I can do it for myself, and I can kill my boss.
Yeah, and that's what, like, I was like comparing it to The Purge. I was just like, oh, okay, so just anything goes, and it's just like we just happen to be locked in this building with like everyone with their inhibitions completely turned off.
It's a similar type thing happened in a movie called The Belko Experiment. I mean, there was no virus, but so all these people got a certain chip like put in their head, which were bombs, which you'll find out later. But they were all put into this building. Then, for an experiment, they were all locked up into this giant tower. And then a voice comes over the intercom, and it's just like, if 3 of you aren't dead, 6 of you will die. So, like, if you don't kill each other, we will kill
like,
double the amount.
It's like Squid Game-y kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like that. Okay. And so you go through all these people having, like, different reactions. Like, you have the people who are terrified and try to hide. You have the people who think it's all a prank. And then you have some people who take it seriously. And then you have the people who take it way too seriously.
Right, yeah.
Because at one point... there's a group of people who, which I think is really dumb, they somehow get a bunch of guns.
Okay.
And, like, this is an office building. Where are you getting all these guns from?
Right.
But, they all have guns, and then they decide to, like, line up old versus young, or people who they just don't like.
Yeah.
And then it just... And it's kind of like a battle royale where there's only one person who will live.
Yeah.
Or I don't think one person was even supposed to... Or no, yeah. Because he was supposed to live... One was supposed to live, and then he was going to be taken away and do something. But the main guy kind of, like, collected all the bombs after he survived, took into this random place of slipped bombs in guards' like, pockets without, like... The plot's kind of stupid.
Sure.
Because, like, he does it, and he's like... How did you know they were going to take you right in front of the board where all the switches for the bombs are?
Yeah.
How did you know to slip all the bombs into the guard? It was kind of stupid.
Sure. I mean, I mean, for God's sakes, like, I mean, there's always like silly things that, like, I don't know, but I mean, aren't horror movies supposed to be fun? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're supposed horror movies are supposed to like have like distract you and like give you all these wild scenarios.
Yeah.
And like, but after you watch it, you kind of like think
It's like,
your
is
thinking
that in
comes-
the realm of possibility? Kind
Yeah,
of thing.
you just it kind of like you think back to it and you're just like that would never happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, you could shoot plot holes in like any movie for stuff like that. Like, it's like, okay, like, let's be realistic here. It's like the whole like dividing into factions, like some like even like The Purge. Like The Purge is an interesting idea for a movie. It's like if you turn off all crime for a day, it's like, let's be real about this. Okay, how many people in the real world are reasonable and really don't want to commit crimes all that much?
Yeah, and then like and how many people are just gonna decide like, yep, I'm just gonna I get to murder people.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh yeah, and then they get it out of their system, and then like the crime rate goes down a lot. It's like it's a very dumb like idea for like a law that would actually happen. But it's like at the same time though, it's like, you know, then you kind of think about it. It's like, okay, well, all the reasonable ones actually are allowed to like not participate in the purge. You just kind of like, you know, don't do anything for however many hours it is or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's like, I mean, are the extremes of extremes of society really that extreme? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, like if you had like, how many people really would go out there and like murder a bunch of people, or like how many people, if they got this virus, wouldn't be able to like fight their own inhibitions and like try to at least like just say, I'm gonna go lock myself in an office for like several hours so I don't die.
Yeah, because like especially with the two main characters, they still have like they still have enough over their own minds that they can.
Yeah, I mean, they have
choose
reason.
one.
They have
Yeah.
logic.
They have they're not just like unlike like 28 Days Later where
Yeah.
they lose all their logic and
everything.
they just feel like
Yeah.
and it just a thing switches and they are just murderers. So they could be like they like all the people could be like, we could just hide and just not do it. But
Yeah. Well, and kind of the other thing that I think the horror genre does a really good job of kind of drawing on is like, I mean, there are legitimately like evil people in the world that like actually do these things. Like, you know, you have like the Jeffrey Dahmers and like the like, you know what I'm saying? Like those horror, like those real life horror stories that actually do happen. But it's like, man, it's like I don't know if it's trying to set a light on like everyone is more evil than they might think, or it's just like I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, if you think about what people what is like the nature of a true human, it's like, if you commit those kind of atrocities, are you really human at that point? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't know. I do find that like a very interesting idea about like the genre.
Because like with Halloween, the first one with like Michael Myers, he his Dr. Loomis sees him as possessed by the devil, or like he has just like there's one line where he talks about Michael and like he talks about his eyes and he says they're the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, and
Yeah.
like because he sees Michael as just a monster. He doesn't see Michael as a human
being
anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. It's just like when you see those people who commit like a billion murders. Now, the other kind of interesting question that I think the horror genre asks is like, okay, like, and this is like a silly point in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, like none of the crime is like really your fault. It was the virus's fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, based on what I know about chemistry and what I know about science, it's like, I don't know that I want to say it's not their fault. And like, I'm sure there's like a different path they could have chose somewhere.
Mm.
And, I mean, listen, there are evil people out there that even there are just evil people out there that want to turn like there are people that do atrocities just because they want to do atrocities. There are people that raise like all kinds of problems just because they want to. But like, if they were born that way, is that really fair? You know what I mean? It's like they may not be human, but they have a human body and a human like all of that. They just don't have any kind of thing telling them what is right and wrong. But I mean, and then you get to those people that actually do kind of have a soul and then do it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do find that kind of like idea pretty interesting, at least.
Yeah. Like you have a movie called the House That Jack Built. He's this man who has extreme OCD, but like he talks about it as if like walking down a dark sidewalk with light posts. Like when he's walking in the dark sidewalk, it's fine, nothing is wrong. But as he gets closer to that light, the need to kill like bubbles up, and then once he's like directly under that light, he absolutely has to. And there's one scene in the movie where he tries to kill this old woman by suffocating her.
Yeah.
And then when that doesn't work, he helps her back. He like nurses her back to a state which is fine, and then tries it again and kills her.
Yeah.
And then he spends like hours going back and forth, like going back to the house, making sure there's no blood anywhere because of his OCD, to the point where he almost gets caught.
See, and that'd be a situation where I think they're definitely trying to like not redeem, but like give him a little bit of kind of like actual motivation besides just being evil for the sake of being evil. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, okay, now tell me what you think about this, because this happens in lots of movies. Okay, what about if you're the good guy? Okay, I posed this question to a class like forever ago, and I'll be honest, it led to some uncomfortable conversations that I don't really like. But it was like, okay, if you could kill Hitler, would you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the good guy, because like Hitler's obviously evil for like a million different reasons, obviously.
Mm.
Okay, but like if you could be the one to like be the hero and do that, would you be okay with killing an evil person? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel if you kill them, you're no better than the killer.
In a weird way, I kind of feel the same way. Like, I would have a hard time believing that I could kill anyone and feel okay with it. You know what I mean?
Because, like, I mean, Hitler, yes, he's a horrible person, but even then, I don't think I could kill another human being. I feel...
See, but then you get back to the thing. It's like, well, are they really a human being? And that's where it's like it gets to a very interesting argument. It's like death penalty stuff, and you get what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of like interesting like avenues you could go down with that kind of thing. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but like,
oh, you're fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like it's one of those things where like I don't know. It's like it's a very big moral dilemma. It's like, are you kind of playing God if you decide that like he is not a human anymore?
Yeah.
And then where is that line where you are no longer human and like you deserve death?
You're mostly playing like a judge, juror, and executioner.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know, and then like there's all kinds of avenues you can go down with that. You can go like death penalty. It's like, is the death penalty ever justified? I don't want to get too political on like a school podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it's definitely like I do think that like when you kind of push at those kind of questions, like I do think that's what kind of does make an interesting movie. Like even like the new season of Invincible does something kind of like that, where it's like Mark kills somebody, he didn't feel good about it, and then now like even at the end of the season, well, actually I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, whatever. You get my point. It's like you have to live with the idea of killing someone.
Yeah, and it's messed up and it's hard to go through. And then like he's spending a lot of the season or it was season 3 fighting himself. Like, is he a good person or is he a horrible person? And like his huge thing is like, is he like his father, who is a horrible murderer?
Well, I was gonna say, and they're doing interesting stuff with that, because it's like right now Mark's kind of like doing the whole like Luke turning towards the dark side.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then like, well, it's like it's almost mirroring Star Wars. And then like Darth Vader is like eventually turns to the light at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you have like Omni-Man or like Nolan, which is kind of the opposite direction of Mark, where he's becoming more human, and Mark's becoming more Viltrumite.
Yeah. See, and that's kind of what I like about science and just like sci-fi in general. It's like you can pose all these like insane, ridiculous questions, but what you're really getting at is just kind of like, what is a human? What is morality? What is right and wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'd love to say, because I'm really smart and I'm good at science, I know what right and wrong is. But at the same time, I'm no better than anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just one human in like 7 billion. You know, I know what right and wrong is to me, but at the same time, it's like, you know, who's to say I am allowed to be judge, jury, and executioner? Like, I mean, again, Hitler's obviously wrong. You get my point. But it's like, it's just like, you know, it's like, it's really hard to like judge people that do evil things, especially when you know there's a mental barrier. Like in the virus case, I do find that interesting, because it's like, for sure the virus had an effect on you, but you also use the virus as an excuse to kill like several humans.
Yeah, because like they still had like a choice. They could have
locked themselves in a closet,
or they could have just not killed anybody.
Yes,
but then they decided, you know what? Time to kill my boss.
But I mean, you literally have like an anime red eye virus. You know what I'm saying? It's like at the same time, it's like, do you really blame him for doing all that? And it's like the guy was in literal, actual like rock bottom by like 30 minutes into the movie.
And then like it's another thing of like he could have had, or I mean like yes they still had control, but maybe their morals were clouded by the virus.
Yeah.
And they couldn't. It was kind of like impulse. Like he was just like, my boss has caused all this, and he just fired me. So the only justifiable thing to do now is kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's also kind of like, and then those weird inhibitors in your brain that tell you right and wrong. It's like the ones that tell you like, for sure killing someone is not like when you're at rock. Even like let's say you don't have like a mental disease. Like even if you're just like at complete total rock bottom, which I mean, I'd love to say I don't know people that are at, like I'd love to say everyone's lives that I see around me, even in the school, like are just like completely fine. I mean, there are just people that just have absolutely nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, is it really that hard to believe that that's the next step? Like when you go to school to be a teacher, you learn about fight or flight. Like, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like you learn about that. You learn about like the one thing you want to do as a teacher is like make your classroom feel safe. Because like and you know I have to break that a lot because I'm a science teacher and everything needs to be crazy and dangerous. but the thing is just like if you don't feel safe, there is no step 2. Like to actually like accomplish learning. Like it's like why would like a student care about learning if they have no food at home? Why would a student like care about learning if they have no anything at home? So like what I'm trying to get at is just like the most like fight or flight response. Is it really that insane for those people to choose fight? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like between the two options. Like I mean, I'd love to say I'm the pacifist. I choose flight all the time. But like then, I've chose fight plenty of times in my life.
And then
you know what I'm
like,
saying?
It's another one of those things is that you don't truly know unless you're in that situation.
Absolutely.
Because like there was a experiment called the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Right. Yeah.
Where these group of college boys were the flip of a coin. Half of them were guards, half of them were prisoners, and the guards immediately abused their power, and like you would look at that and you'd be like, oh, I'd never do
that.
But
yeah,
you
exactly.
don't know.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where like I do find it really hard to judge people because it's just like you never really know what's going on with someone on the inside. Actually, I don't know if you've heard about this one. I feel like you should have. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Ruby Payne. There's another one that's shown to like teachers everywhere in college. So if you're a teacher, you've definitely seen this. But like basically the teacher does so they do this with elementary schoolers because they don't know any better. But basically they like say, all right, all the blue-eyed people, you're better than all the brown-eyed people. So you guys get 5 minutes of extra recess time. So then the whole rest of the day, like all the blue-eyed kids would be like bullying the absolute crap out of the brown-eyed people.
Because it gives them a sense of power.
Exactly. Because superiority and then like that mental inhibition of saying I'm superior to you kicks in, and then it makes you want to do things that you know that you're superior to them in that way.
Yeah.
So and then what's interesting is then the next day they flip it. So it's like, oh, okay, and then today the brown people, or the brown people, that's horrible. The brown-eyed people. The brown-eyed people get to be the bosses for today. And then they immediately turn and start doing awful things. So it's like especially because then yet the day before they just got screwed around with. So then, time for revenge, baby. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's one of those things where it's like there's so many just like and that's a simple thing like eye color. There's so many like little dynamics that happen all the time.
Yeah.
Where like I mean again, I'd love to say I'm the most humble person in the world, and like I'm cocky in my own way. I think I'm really good at science. I thought I was really good at football when I was in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's superiority complexes to every single human that exists somewhere. But and even if there's not, like the people that hit rock bottom have nothing to lose. So it's a very like weird dynamic in that kind of way.
Yeah, well, I think that's about all the time we have for today.
Yeah, I got like way too deep, but that's how my brain always
goes. It's fine. Well, thank you, Mr. Clark, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I've been Logan Loya, and you've been listening to Terror Talk.